Hello everybody, my name is the Chef and welcome to Deadpan Dining, a cooking channel where we're going to be going over various recipes that'll tickle your taste buds, perhaps your taint, and maybe leave you yearning for, yes, a happy endie. There's nothing like getting one of those at the end of a nice meal. Anyways, this is a new cooking channel concept that I'm coming up with here. I've been meaning to do this for a while. Some of you might know me, some of you may not, but welcome to the channel. Thank you for the support. If you are new to the channel and new to my content or my just general BS, I am a man that is full of baloney in a literal sense, which is why my physique is as such. Anyways, in today's video we're going to be going over one of my favorite dishes from when I was living over in Japan. It is the steak Donburi. Today we're going to be using a ribeye. You can use any kind of generic cut of steak. I prefer something a little more nice. If you've got the means to do so, why not? You know, treat yourself. Anyways, we're going to be dry aging this in the fridge for 2 days. So this step can take a little bit longer. You don't have to. You can do this for 1 day if you want as well. And the way we're going to do that is we're just going to salt it. I wouldn't say too heavily, but just enough so that it is reminiscent of the flavor of your grandmother's forehead when you plant a kiss on her after you haven't seen her in so long. Anyways, we're going to let that air dry in the fridge for 2 days. Oh, seems you stumbled upon my dildo collection. Just kidding. We're going to be making a bunch of pickles as well, a variety of pickles. Here we're just circumcising Frosty the Snowman, and a handful of that Frosty. Basically we're going to peel these carrots down, we're going to peel this daikon down. You can see a little bit of a slow-mo shot here, and then we're going to take these average sized cucumbers and just kind of chop them in a variety of different ways. You know, there's no real right or wrong way of cutting these. You can just kind of have fun with it. I'm just going to cut them into little half moons here, just lining them up, just ready for the slaughter here. So get your sharpest knife you can. It's always good to keep your knife sharp so that you don't hack into yourself and just cause severe damage. Also, I apologize if you hear a crying baby in the background. That is my sweet, sweet boy. It's not really a boy, it's a cat. But with all the veg that you cut down here, we're actually going to salt it as well. And we're going to let that sit for about an hour, and we're going to drain the salt. Here we're taking a bunch of cabbage. This is a Napa cabbage, I believe. And we're going to be just kind of cutting it down into a bite-sized shape, and we'll be making kind of a savory pickle with this one. They call it tsukemono in Japan for pickles. This one's going to be like a miso tsukemono. So we're just going to salt this cabbage as well. Remember, you always want it to taste kind of like grandma. You know, if you never kissed your grandma, you probably should before it's too late. We got the carrot coming back here. Ooh, you know, we're chopping Frosty down to size. He was a little bit too much to handle earlier, so we're going to just cut him down so he's a little more manageable. We're going to do a julienne cut, which basically we're going to cut these flat as thin as possible, and then we're going to run our knife through it again. So we're just trying to get even shapes here, even sizes, just to make it a little more consistent with cutting. As you can see, we're stacking it up here like we're stacking chips. And we are just gonna, this is what a julienne cut is for those of you who don't know. It's basically like a shoestring cut. So try your best to do this without cutting yourself. I highly recommend, you know, if you got pork trotters like mine, as you can see here, tuck them in, you know what I mean? Tuck those little fingers in so that you don't end up chopping down. Here's a little meeper beside me. So yeah, we're going to chop those down. We're also going to salt them as well. And after we do cut these and salt them and let them sit, we are going to drain them of their moisture. We're also going to just taste if Frosty's still got some warmth in him there. But yep, salt the shoestring carrots here, the julienne cut carrots, and set them aside. If you don't have a sharp knife, you can use like a bullshit knife. As you can see, my knives are quite expensive, but you can use like a bullshit knife and just try your best to sharpen it as best as possible. If you guys want, I can do knife techniques and knife care videos as well sometime down the road, but For now, this is just a temporary format. Maybe I'll continue with this format, I'm not sure. Might be a good format, maybe we'll continue. It might be the best format, but we're gonna keep trying some new things on the channel. Maybe you guys want to do some viewer challenges where you tell me how to, you know, give me like a list of ingredients and I'll just try to whip something up, something fun, you know. So let's keep this channel creative and keep it going, keep it alive. So again, we're gonna salt these daikon same way we did the other stuff here, and we are gonna set it aside. So now we got ginger. A gypsy taught me this method. You know, after I reverse robbed her for a couple quarters. Basically take the edge of your spoon and just scrape the skin off rather than wasting your time using a peeler, because you'll also waste a lot of the ginger as well as you do it. So we're just taking the edge of the spoon here. We're going to crack it just to release some of the juices. And again, we're going to do that same julienne style cut. So cut it as flat as you can, and then we are going to stack it up once again and cut them into strips, as you can see here. Don't hurt yourself when you do this kind of stuff, guys. You know, it's not fun to lose a nail. Unless we're talking about our toenails. And I lost my toenail once in karate class when I was a kid, because I was paired up with this big lady in a three-legged race, and she stomped on my toenail. It came off pretty much as easy as this garlic skin here, but I digress. We're going to take these little bulbs and just kind of stack them together. You don't have to do it if you're not confident in doing it like a threesome like this. But we're going to just chop it as thin as possible. We're going to do two different kinds of garlic. One is just going to be a loosely thin chop like this, and the other one's going to be a mince, which this one's going to be, we're going to run our knife through it a little bit more. As you can see, I got this plate here that I made. I'm special. It's not really the nicest plate, but it's something. But it's going to be, you know, a nice something for us to rest our garlic on. Anyways, we got these little witch fingers here. One of them has a little mole on the end there. We're just going to chop that off. We're going to flip them to the side. These are actually Anaheim chilies. All these ingredients you can most likely buy in Chinatown. So we're going to just put these off to the side. As you can see, the compost bin is starting to fill up there. I keep a compost bin on the side just in case, you know, I don't feel like going back and forth with the garbage can all the time. But try to mince this chili as much as possible. Give it a run through the knife. Keep your hand flat on the top of the blade and just run your knife through it several times. Give it a snort, and you know, you might let off a little cough like I do here, because it is very potent when you snort it. But we're also just going to add it to the garlic. This is going to be for our chili crisp, which is a very good condiment. You'll see here in a minute. Now this is the ingredients we're going to be using for our pickles. We're going to take this baby poop here, aka miso, because miso hungry, and we're going to add this to the bowl. This is going to be for our savory pickle, which we're using with the cabbage and the carrots. So take a little rice wine vinegar, just add a big old glug of it in there, and add a little bit of mirin as well. Just a big glug. I like that word, glug. And we're going to whisk up this baby poop till it's a little bit more of like a smooth emulsion. This is going to be, like I said, more of a savory taste. Make sure you taste your fingers afterwards. If you feel like smelling mine, drop me a DM. Maybe we'll meet up and I'll give you a little sample. So what I did with all these vegetables that I salted earlier is I gave them a rinse and I squeezed them through a little cloth just to kind of dry them out and extract all the moisture. And we're just going to add the cabbage and the carrots that I cut julienne style to this bowl. We're going to take our nicest Winnie the Pooh chopsticks, add another little touch of salt, just because you know, you want to just double up on the seasoning. Cover it with your largest condom and just kind of put a little bit of weight on it. I just put this on just because I want it to kind of almost compress. I do have a vacuum seal machine. Just sure most people don't have one at home, so I'm not going to just use it in this video. Like I said, this is kind of an experimental one. Add some sugar, add some rice wine vinegar, and some regular white vinegar. So this is going to be kind of our generic pickle liquid. You can add water to this if you feel like it's too strong, but I want it to kind of be a little bit strong. but also not too, I don't know. It's light. It's a light pickle, but I don't want it to kind of be watered down, is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to add some of those ginger threads to it. Add that other chopped garlic that we added to the sake cup to these cucumbers here, which again, we rinsed off and squeezed. Make sure you always rinse off after you squeeze, if you know what I mean. And then we're going to add half of this juice here. I didn't want to add all the ginger, so I'm just going to put it back here because that ginger was meant for the daikon. We're going to add this daikon here. But I did heat up this pickling liquid, which is why you couldn't really see the sugar and salt anymore, because I wanted to kind of just dissolve it in the heat there. So we're going to take our extra special plate with all the special ingredients on it, which was just the garlic and the snortable chili. We're going to add it into this pot with some oil, just standard canola oil, and we're going to bring that up to temp, just to a simmer. Let it cook up for like 5 minutes. Just keep an eye on it, make sure you stir it. You just want it to cook down so it's literally cooked down. Take your favorite homemade cock powder. This is a batch that I whipped up this morning. It's a chicken flavored powder, but it says cock on it, which is kind of funny. We're going to add that to it. We're going to add some this kind of dying bottle of sesame oil. As you can see, I've gone through quite a bit of sesame oil, and a big glug of soy sauce. You can use dark, you can use light, doesn't really matter. We don't discriminate here on the channel. So we're going to mix that all together kind of while it's still warm. You don't want to add this like while it's cooking. I find that it can just cake on the bottom of the pan. This is a beautiful condiment you can use on many things. You could even put it on your grandmother's forehead to, you know, make her taste a little bit better when you give her that smooch that we were talking about. You could also add peanuts to it. Laugan ma, John Cena's favorite condiment, I guess. So we're going to take our pot here again, and we're just going to crush this ginger bulb. This is kind of like one of the remainders of the ginger that I had here. And we're going to add a big glug of mirin. We're going to add some of that, just the remainder of our chopped ginger as well, and a big glug of sake. If you got sake at home, you can use sake. If you don't, you don't have to. You can use vodka, whatever. We're going to add maple syrup. Add a little Canadian twist there, eh? Because I am Canadian and I want to get this maple syrup bottle out of my fridge. So we're just kind of improvising. We got some green onions here. We're going to take the tops and tails off. We're not going to throw them out though. We are going to use those in this tare sauce, which we are making. I don't know if I mentioned that, but we're making tare, which is going to be kind of the foundation kind of marinade / sauce for the beef. Again, keep your pork trotters as tightly tucked as possible, and chop these as fine as you can, unless you like big kind of cut onions. It's really nice to have a very sharp knife. I know I stressed this before, but especially for something like a green onion or any herbs, you want something delicate like this, you want to have a very sharp knife. It'll keep it crisp longer. I'm going to take a damp, cold damp tissue. Looks like a little bit of a diaper situation here, a pamper if you will, and put it in the fridge. We're going to add the tops and tails to that concoction that we just kind of put in on the pot here. And as you can see, it's reducing into almost like a syrup consistency. Now this is kind of what we want before we add the soy sauce to add that full umami flavor. You could add several different things. You could add dashi to this, you could add a million different things, but we're just kind of going with what we have in our pantry right now. And it's going to be delicious no matter what. Trust me, I'm a professional, I think. So you can see it's kind of bubbling into like almost a dark amber. We're just going to set that aside to cool. So whatever rice you got at home, I've got this Korean medium grain rice. It's above average, I would say. And we're going to take a couple of scoops of it and add it to this colander, because what you want to do with rice especially is you want to wash the impurities and kind of some of the starchiness off of it, and also just wash it, you know, just in general. It's good to wash your anything that you cook with, I would say. Run it till the water runs clear. I mean, you don't really have to. It is the proper way of doing it, but if you're kind of a lazy sack of dog doo-doo, then don't. Just follow the procedure for the measurements on the bag if you're not familiar with cooking it this way. I'm familiar with cooking it through a pot, but anyways, This is the second day now. We got our pickles out because we did leave it in the fridge overnight. We've got the cabbage, we've got the cucumbers and the daikon, and we got some furikake seasoning, which you can easily make as well, but we're just going to add this to the cucumber to add a little more depth of flavor and umami to this specific type of pickle. And we did drain all the liquid out, which is why it kind of looks a little bit more dry. And we're going to take our favorite butthole plate here. It looks like a butthole. You can count the rings. You ever count the rings in a butthole? It's just something to do while you're back there, you know what I mean? So we're going to actually just put all three different types of pickles here in this plate, just to make, you know, for ease of use, I would say, like for when we're eating, and it saves us space on our plate for our main dish. So you could do it in three separate things like I already have. I mean, you don't have to do it this way, but again, it's just dinner for one. So I'm just going to take this away, set this aside until we're ready. We got our dry aged steak here. It's been in the fridge for 2 days. So we're just going to see how much it's like. Oh, just make sure you beat your meat. I forgot to add that step here. You can see it's quite dry because it's been air drying in the fridge here. You can trim the edges here, but I'm not really going to. There's no reason for me to. It's not like a super long dry age. Make sure you give it the people's elbow. And we're going to just also kind of prepare ourselves to plate the final plate here. So take an egg, because I am going to put a raw egg yolk on top. If you got nice eggs, you can do it. This is kind of just like just a random grocery store egg, so hopefully we don't get the E. coli or salmonella or any fun disease that's going to leave me on the toilet for a long period of time. So now that our rice is done, we're just going to give it a little bit of a fluff, because it's always good to have a fluffer on standby before you handle your meat, which we're about to do. We got just a non-stick pan, because this is what we have at home. With just some neutral canola oil here. We've got it cranked up to medium high. We're going to render out some of the fat. So we're putting the fat cap down, and as you can see, we have seasoned our meat once again, but it's not going to sit and absorb like it did before. We're just going to try to crisp it onto the edge here. So use tongs or something. You can use your hands if you're a real boss, but I'm not feeling so confident today. As you can see, we got a little bit of a golden crust there. It looks like my grandmother's ankle. Not really. I mean, she had pretty ankles, I think. It's been a while since I've seen the lass. But we're going to try to press the meat into the pan to get as much contact on the flesh as possible, just so we can get a really nice sear. As you can see, we're developing a real strong crust. Once you get like I would say, a crust that you're happy with, I think that's the best time to add the butter. We're still in that medium high here. We're going to just kind of get all sides. I like to use the edge of my pan because, as you can see, we have this shitty electric oven. So we're going to turn it down to more of like a medium now and just throw the butter in, because we've already achieved the crust that we've wanted, but this will also give it a little bit more crust and depth of flavors. And you can tell here that this meat's looking awfully nice and crispy. Typically I don't do steak in just the pan, but we are going to do that today just to show you that it can be done. Normally I would sear it, put it in the oven, and just kind of caress with the meat and poke it gently. And with the experience that I have, I could tell what the temperature is just based off of touch, because I have touched meat many times, paws, and I'm pretty good at telling the internal temperature based off of just feeling. So we're going to baste it a little bit. You can see you get this nutty kind of color coming from the butter. The butter is browning. We are going to be adding this butter to the tare. So take your best Winnie the Pooh bowl. We're going with the Winnie the Pooh theme here, just because we have the Winnie the Pooh set, and I thought it was kind of cute for this preparation. But also we're going to take this kind of dome-shaped bowl, bulk up a little bit at the bottom here because this is quite a tall bowl. We're going to bulk it up at the bottom before we actually compact the rice into this bowl to create some shape. This is going to give you a nice dome, which we're going to tuck in using the edge of the spoon here just to create more of a proper dome shape. We put the steak, butter and all, into the tare, which we ended up putting into this Tupperware because that's the only container we had that would fit both of these things. We're going to take some of that buttery kind of tare with the beef drippings and add it to the rice just to start off the kind of layers of flavor here. Take your really fancy knife if you got one, and it's best not to hack and like saw into a steak, but I've created such a crust where I have to penetrate the outside to get to the actual center here. But with the ribeye, I see people often just cutting it kind of straight across lengthwise, but I don't think that's the right way, in my opinion. I feel like you want to, especially if you're doing something like this, you want to go against the grain anytime you're cutting meat. This would be against the grain. As you can see when we get the close-up shot here, you can see the cells are not running, or the fibers rather, are not running straight. So create a little nook in the top of your rice mound here, and we're going to add some of that chili crisp. You can add as much as you'd like, or you don't have to add it at all. You could save it for your grandma. We're going to take those beautiful slices of beef and just create like a little meat skirt around. You ever hear of meat curtains? Well, this is the meat skirt. As you can see, it looks very, very beautiful. We got quite a good cook on it from that pan. Really nice crust. A little bit gray on the edges there. Not gray, but brown, but that's just because we were aggressively searing it. We're going to add the egg on top and serve it up here. As you can see, the egg yolk is just erupted. So we're going to throw a frig ton of onions on top just to cover that up. Of course, you can't have a nice donburi without a nice cup of sake. So, kanpai or cream pie, whatever you're into. We're going to mix that egg yolk in with the rice along with the chili crisp. And we're going to take a bite here and just see how it tastes. I mean, this is a terrible angle I got here, but you can see that it's a very nice kind of meat. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Let me know if you followed along, if you adjusted anything in the comments below. And we shall see you in the next one. Appreciate you watching. Sad Cat out.